mile run, which is run, and it's my 19th annual that I created back in 1994, and we literally run the last 10 miles of the New York City Marathon course 2 weeks before the actual race.
Oh, so they know the territory.
Right, so they see the visual of at least the last 10 miles prior to the actual race, and that's really very empowering to know that you've done 16 miles and you've got 10 more to go, but at least you know what is coming.
What it looks like, and your feet have won the path before. We're going to take a moment for another offering, and when we get back, I'm really excited to have Mindy tell us a bit about some of the other exciting things that they do at the Running Center, and one of them is renditioning, and I can't wait. So we'll see you in just a moment. We're back with Mindy Sulkin. So, Mindy, the Running Center does offer so many things, and I want to say, you don't have to go there going like, oh, I want to run a marathon. You could just want to become a little healthier. You even have walking groups, I think, and running and beginning running, and just even you all coach people on, even how to eat in a way that helps their body, and it's just really great. I mean, some people probably just come to you because their doctor says you need to do something to make your heart a little better. So, but you have classes in trainings in full marathons, half marathons, just group running. But you have something that you've created, and this renditioning. So can we talk about it? It's a certain conditioning, but it's for running, but I don't think you have to be a runner to do it, right? I mean, you could tell us about it.
That's correct. Well, I'm so happy you asked me about that, because I coined the phrase renditioning, which is really conditioning for runners. But like you said, it doesn't have to be for runners. It's part of, I might back up just a moment, and we have at the Running Center that I created, it is called the TRC Training System. And it's a 12-point system that covers all the different components of running. So there's running, of course, but then there's nutrition, there's gear, there's professional support, personal support, and then of course there's renditioning. And so what I saw through the years is that most people, whether they're training for their first mile or their 7th marathon, are really just focused on how many miles do I need to run, at what pace, and just to get it done. And that, of course, is part of the sport, a big part of the sport. But another part of the sport is the ancillary components of training, which any sport really has, and that is how to run. In other words, how to hold your body, running form, breathing, posture, and all the different components of what goes into what's going on when you're covering the earth, one leg after another. And so I came up with renditioning, which includes an assessment on your posture, your breathing, your strength, how you walk, what it looks like when you're in your gait pattern, what your stride is. And once I analyze that, both stationary, just sitting down, I do some exercises. When somebody's standing up, I do some exercises. And then, of course, I have a treadmill that I use to really view what they're doing when they're running. So once I see this whole picture of what's going on in a person's body, I can fix it if there's something not quite right. And unfortunately, sometimes the sport of running can be quite injurious. And that's because not necessarily are they doing the wrong thing when they're out on the road, they're not running enough miles or they're going too fast. That could be the reason, but many more times it's because they're not running properly. So what I do is I look at this assessment of all of these different criteria, the posture, the breathing, the form, and then I created all of these different exercises that capitalizes on what they're good at and then changes what their weakness is. Exactly.
Wow, that's great. I think that, when you mentioned breathing, it reminded me, I ran for a while. I wasn't really a runner, but I worked at this theater company where his thing was we had to run like 2 or 3 miles a day or something like that. And at the time I was like, had never run or anything, but I did it, and I was one of the first people to accomplish it, and not about speed or anything. But I remember then coming back and running a bit around the city and stuff. And then I don't remember if I was doing a little, some K thing at the park or something. But I do remember that, as you said, the lineup thing, because I'm not a trained, all those people, my breathing, I got anxious, so my breathing was off, and then I really couldn't, I ran a little bit, then I think I had to walk it because I really had gotten so whatever, and maybe you could talk about that. How do people, there's a stress thing that happens. I mean, even, I'm sure you coach them for that, but my thing was hearing all those feet behind me and around me and people passing me, and it got me really kind of
a little anxious.
Yeah, and my breathing really went way out of whack.
Well, most people, especially when they start to run as beginners, they're doing a lot of chest breathing. Mm-hmm. So what happens is everything is happening from here up, and this is going on. All right, and we don't want that. What you really want to try to attain is belly breathing, exactly, diaphragmatic breathing, just like a singer would do.
Yeah, or an actor should do.
Exactly. So in order to do that, there are certain conditioning exercises that I've created that help with that. But it's not an easy task to learn how to breathe differently from what you're used to.
Right. And if you panic, you go back to the old mode.
You do. It's kind of the fight or flight type of syndrome. But very interestingly is that I've done a lot of studies, and I have a lot of data from my runners that when they're breathing with the belly instead of with the chest, they can not only feel better, but you might think, wow, my pace is going to slow because, my breathing's not as fast. But just the opposite happens, that you actually take less breaths per footstep, and therefore you're going to be more comfortable, and your pace is going to either stay the same or sometimes even get faster.
Wow.
So it takes a little trial and error, and it takes certainly several times doing it, or even a few months. But once you get into this pattern and understand, and if you go through life and really just belly breathe all the time, as I do, you're really going to be able to get to the road and do it naturally.
Right, and you can I'm supposed to, and I forget, but, just as a speaker, but it really allows you to speak more clearly, and you have a lot more behind your voice too if you come from down here.
Yes.
If you're gonna have to, people don't end up raising, get squeaky or something if there's an emotional change, because they have all that air that supports them. But that's so, this renditioning is really a great thing. I wanted to, I don't have a clue how much, I don't think we have that much time left, but I don't want to miss too many things that I want to ask you about. You're in it now. You were in another. What I love is that your locations are always near the park. You used to be on Central Park West.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Uptown, 106th Street.
106th, and now you're right near Anderson Cooper and you're
I'm in the center of the world,
yes,
at Columbus Circle.
You're at Columbus Circle, which is an inspiring place to come.
Right.
And the park's right there, and it's great. So, was that a difficult transition? And do you since you're so organized, do you have are you one of those good people to do that 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and you got the production thing and you got the vision? Because people, some of us say, oh, we want to do something, but we don't have that. Do you have that laser focused visioning thing? Well, you must, because runners have to. Right. Can you talk about how that all comes together? Very
structured, very focused, as you're saying. I definitely knew that I wanted to be closer to the action, if you will, even though I was across from Central Park before. But this also made it a little easier for the people who I train, because they're more or less in the more Manhattan area, Midtown, they work there. And it's also very close to my apartment, so that's kind of nice too, because I do a lot of running around in terms of getting to my office, seeing private clients at my office, my studio, and then also being able to get to the park, quite easily. Running the business as well is part of what I do. So I am in the park and I am in my studio training people, but I'm also sitting in front of a computer just like any other business person would be doing. But yes, and going forward, especially as part of runditioning, I really want to, and you mentioned this before, that runditioning isn't just for runners. I want to open it up a little bit more so that I'm doing more about teaching people how to walk properly, even just through life. And I know that might sound really funny.
No, but I walk a lot, and you can screw yourself up if you're not walking.
And I literally look at people when they walk, and I notice how they're landing on their feet, and
you can end up having knee problems, all kinds of things.
Back problems, hip problems, foot problems, everything. And I really want to impart more of a healthy lifestyle to people, even if it has nothing to do with running. So that's why it's great to be in an area that enables me to see so many more people at this center of the world.
Right.
And pretty soon I'm going to be entering something more with runditioning and with health coaching.
Well, that's great. I think we may have 1 or 2 minutes left, and it made me think, and I'm going to forget what I want to ask you. Oh, I do want to mention, and you don't make a big deal of it, but I was really so moved that you did a lot of work with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. You created their team in training program, right? Which is still being used for.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. How did that come about?
In 1994, they had this program, which was team in training, where you run a marathon in honor of a leukemia lymphoma patient. But they didn't really have any specific training or coach for it. So they brought me in, and through the next few months I said, well, we need to do something here so that we can really build this up. I created the first actual marathon training program for them, half marathon as well, and coached 50 teams over 7 years. Also did some consultancy work with them, kind of nationwide. And today it's a huge program. I'm no longer involved with them, but
you
I'm
did the foundation.
Very happy to say that I was a part of it.
Right, and you have coached or trained or advised over 12,000
people. Is that insane?
It's amazing. And
21 years.
And there's a bit of, I'm sure, a little bit of not just coaching, but a little bit of therapist in there. I mean, you gotta, when I say that, you have to be sensitive to the emotional things that go on with people. I'm sure running really helps them through lots of things in life, but there's moments when they probably need more than just your running coaching. They just
my
have
goodness,
to
Anne-Marie, I am a running coach, I am a nutritionist, which I'm actually not certified for, but I'm just saying as part of the package. I'm a sports psychologist, I'm not certified, but they want that from me as well. I'm a mother in a way as well. I mean, you get me to get to the park with you, I get to the park with you, and I have...
she brings you sandwiches for the run. I remember you were like saying to me, I have to get home and make the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I bring paper towels when it's really hot out. So there is a lot of...
nurturing.
Nurturing is a great word, and but I love it. I do love it. And I feel like if somebody was going to do that for me, I would feel really great about it. So I know that they need it and they want it. And it's a win-win, like I said before, because they give me back a lot of love. I mean, to watch my runners progress and succeed, and I have a woman now, she's just turned 65, and she qualified for Boston, and that's a big thing, and it was just, I had tears in my eyes, and it's just great.
That's great. Well, we gotta go, and I thank you for being here. It's just great. And please check out the Running Center. Thank you, Mindy. Until next time, be well. Thanks so much.
Thank you, too.